Welcome to the captivating realm of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss any of our exciting new stories. Enjoy the journey.
Have you ever witnessed a human pleading for mercy? No. Neither have I, Commander K mocked as he spoke to the assembly. Tension filled the Galactic Council chamber, with various species glancing at one another anxiously. K's towering 7-foot frame commanded attention at the center, his scaled fists tightly clenched as he paced back and forth. Humans are weak, he declared, contempt evident in his tone. They haven't engaged in a single galactic conflict in over 1,000 years. They hide behind diplomacy and fragile alliances, too afraid to stand on their own. A murmur of agreement spread through the chamber. The Terran Empire had long been a target of ridicule, their absence from galactic battlefields viewed as cowardice. For centuries, humanity had successfully avoided conflict, opting for negotiations where others waged war and buying time through treaties and trade. This strategy preserved their worlds while others burned, but it garnered them little respect. Perhaps we should issue an ultimatum, suggested Sol, a slender amphibian with deep water-colored skin. Force them to choose sides, either they fight alongside us against the Krogan, or we dismantle their precious empire piece by piece. They won't fight, K scoffed. They'll surrender before the first shot is fired. Humans are too civilized, too evolved to get their hands dirty. The assembly nodded, the decision nearly finalized. A message would be sent to the Terran Empire, demanding their immediate participation in the war against the Krogan. This war had raged for decades, consuming entire star systems in its fury. The Council had become desperate for an advantage, and the Terran Empire, with its vast resources and advanced technology, represented an untapped opportunity. If they refused, the Council would invade and seize their wealth. But what the Galactic Council had failed to grasp, what they could not have known, was that humanity's peace stemmed not from fear, but from a carefully maintained facade. The humans had not forgotten the art of war, they had simply chosen not to engage, believing their survival hinged on it. The message was dispatched. Broadcasted across the galaxy on every frequency and in every language known to the Council. It reached Terra Prime within hours, laden with thinly veiled threats and condescension. 2 days later, a response arrived. The message was brief, almost disappointingly so, 3 simple words: we accept. Prepare. There were no further details, conditions, or negotiations, just a commitment that the Terran Empire would join the war effort. Commander K stared at the message, his confidence shaken for the first time. What is this? He growled, narrowing his eyes at the screen. This is not the response of a scared species. Stahl shifted uneasily beside him. Perhaps they intend to provide support from a distance. Offering resources without sending soldiers, K shook his head. No, the message is clear. They're entering the war. But why the sudden change? Why the casual response? The Council members exchanged anxious glances, their earlier bravado evaporating in light of this unexpected turn. Humanity's reaction had been unerringly calm and measured. It was not the response of a species reluctantly pulled into conflict. It was the reaction of a species waiting for an excuse. What do we know about their military? K demanded, turning to his aides. What are we facing? One of his officers, a squat insectoid named Vil, fidgeted nervously. The Terran Empire has been notoriously secretive about its military capabilities. We have estimates based on trade records and technological exports, but, K interrupted, his voice rising in frustration. What do we know about their actual forces? Very little, sir, Vil admitted. Their fleet is substantial, but it has primarily focused on exploration and trade protection. They haven't fought a major war in over 1,000 years. Their soldiers are rumored to be well trained, but we lack solid data. Their last known engagement was a skirmish with the Drari, which concluded with a diplomatic settlement before any real conflict could arise. K's frustration grew. And what about their weapons? Their tactics, unknown, Vil replied, his mandibles clicking anxiously. The Terran Empire does not disclose such information, and their dealings with other species have been strictly non-military. The commander slammed his fist on the console, the impact echoing through the chamber. Damn it, we're walking into this blind. Stahl placed a tentative hand on Kay's arm. Maybe we should reconsider our strategy, send a delegation to negotiate terms, and ensure their involvement will benefit us. Kay shook his head. No, we've already committed to this path. If we back down now, we'll appear weak, and weakness is something we cannot afford, not with the Krogan threatening us. The council members reluctantly agreed, though the tension in the room was palpable. The Terran Empire's sudden willingness to engage in war had. The council had prepared for an encounter with the humans on the battlefield, determined to secure their support by any means necessary. In just a few days, the council fleet was mobilized, forming the largest armada ever assembled in the galaxy's history. Hundreds of warships, from sleek frigates to massive battleships, gathered at the rendezvous point near the edge of Terran space. The Krogan represented a formidable threat, armed with biotechnological weapons and a relentless aggressive stance. The Council had expected a war of attrition, but with humanity's involvement, they hoped for a swift and decisive victory. As the fleet waited for the Terran forces to arrive, tension hung heavily in the air. Crews whispered rumors, speculating about what the humans might contribute. Some imagined fleets of advanced starships equipped with unknown weaponry, while others spoke of mysterious superweapons hidden on Terran worlds capable of annihilating entire planets. But as the hours dragged on without any sign of the Terran Empire, doubts began to creep in. Where are they? Commander K muttered, pacing the bridge of his flagship. Saul suggested they might rendezvous further out, though uncertainty laced his voice. Suddenly, an alert flashed on the main console, an incoming transmission from the Terran Empire. K ordered it to be put on screen, and to their surprise, it wasn't a fleet or a delegation of diplomats that appeared, but a single man dressed in a dark uniform. He stood in what looked like the command center of a warship, his expression unreadable. "This is Admiral Marcus Reeve of the Terran Empire," he announced calmly. "We are en route to your location, prepare to receive us." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Kay stared at the blank screen, his mind racing. There was no sign of hesitation or weakness from the humans. Admiral Reeve spoke as if he were already in control of the situation. "Something's not right," Kay muttered to himself. "They're too confident." Sty, ever the voice of caution, nodded in agreement. "We should be prepared for anything, Commander. The humans may have been concealing their true strength from us all along." Kay frowned but remained silent, sensing they were on the brink of something far more dangerous than they had anticipated. As the shadow of the Terran Empire loomed closer, the Galactic Council began to realize they might have made a grave mistake. Tension thickened on the bridge of Kay's flagship as the Terran Empire's fleet emerged from hyperspace. The display screens lit up, showing ship after ship materializing in the void. However, these vessels were not the sleek, elegant designs the Council had envisioned. Instead, the Terran ships were brutish and utilitarian, with sharp angular lines and an intimidating presence. Each one bristled with weaponry that seemed excessive even by the Council's standards. "By the gods," someone whispered in disbelief. Kay's reptilian eyes narrowed. The firepower before them was massive, far larger than anything the Council had anticipated. It wasn't just the sheer number of ships that caused unease among the assembled Council officers, it was the way they moved, with precise, synchronized efficiency, like predators stalking their prey. "Open a channel," Kay ordered, his voice tinged with uncertainty. The screen flickered, and Admiral Reeve's image reappeared, now seated in the command chair of his ship. "Commander K," he began, inclining his head slightly, a gesture that could be interpreted as respect or mere formality. "The Terran Empire has arrived as promised. We stand ready to engage the Krogan alongside the Galactic Council." Kay's jaw tightened, something about Reeve's composure was unsettling. It felt as if the Admiral was fully aware of the Council's doubts and didn't care. "You brought quite the fleet, Admiral," Kay said, forcing a smile. "It's more than we expected." We believe in being prepared, Reeve replied smoothly. The Krogan are a formidable enemy, it would be unwise to underestimate them. Kay narrowed his eyes further. I hope you understand the gravity of this situation, Admiral. This war is not like the skirmishes you may have faced in the past. The Krogan do not negotiate, and they do not retreat. They fight until their enemies are crushed beneath them. Reeve's expression didn't change. The Terran Empire is fully aware of the Krogan's nature. We have faced similar threats before, though perhaps not on this scale. Rest assured, Commander, we are ready. Kay's instincts screamed that something was wrong, but he couldn't pinpoint what it was. As a seasoned warrior, he had faced countless foes, yet this felt different. Very well, Kay finally said. We will advance together. The Krogan fleet has been detected in the Nestor sector, we plan to intercept them before they can reach the core systems. A sound strategy, Reeve agreed. We will follow your lead, Commander. Kay ended the transmission and turned to his officers. Preparing for the conflict that lay ahead, keep a close watch on their movements, he commanded. I want to be informed of any deviation from our course. The Council fleet approached the Nesto sector, with the Terran ships forming up behind them. The combined armada was an impressive sight, showcasing the strength of the galaxy's mightiest civilizations. However, a sense of unease coursed through the Council ranks. The sudden involvement of the Terran Empire, their overwhelming display of power, and Admiral Reeve's unsettling calm had thrown everyone into disarray. As they neared the last known position of the Krogan, tension escalated. The Council fleet advanced cautiously, scanning for any signs of the enemy. The Krogan were notorious for their ambush tactics, using bioengineered warships to launch devastating surprise attacks. There's one, an officer shouted, pointing at the screen. A swarm of red dots appeared on the radar, quickly approaching their position. Enemy fleet detected. KRA commanded. All ships prepare for battle. The Council's warships took up defensive positions, their weapons powering up. The Krogan ships loomed large, grotesque organic structures with hulls glowing with bioluminescent energy. They charged forward at terrifying speed, aiming to collide with the Council lines. Fire at will. Kay ordered, and chaos erupted in the void as the Council fleet unleashed a barrage of firepower. Beams of plasma and kinetic projectiles streaked through space, striking the Krogan vessels. The enemy retaliated with bioweapons, releasing corrosive acid and spore-filled pods that adhered to the Council ships, eating away at their hulls. The battle raged fiercely, lighting up the void with explosions and the cries of dying ships. The Krogan fought with relentless fury, launching themselves at the Council fleet without regard for their own losses. Then, the Terran Empire made its move. Without warning, the Terran ships surged ahead, breaking formation and plunging directly into the heart of the Krogan fleet. Kay watched in disbelief as the Terran vessels unleashed an unprecedented barrage of firepower. It wasn't just the volume of fire, it was the precision. The Terran weapons sliced through the Krogan ships with surgical accuracy, targeting weak points with unerring efficiency. What are they doing? Sty gasped. They're breaking formation. Kay's eyes widened as he grasped the truth. The Terrans weren't breaking formation, they were executing a plan, one they had not shared with the Council. Caught off guard by the sudden, overwhelming assault, the Krogan fleet began to falter. The Terran ships moved with terrifying coordination, each maneuver designed to maximize damage while minimizing risk. Despite their ferocity, the Krogan could not withstand the onslaught. One by one, their ships were obliterated. Their once mighty fleet reduced to wreckage in mere minutes. As the last Krogan ship exploded, a heavy silence descended over the battlefield. The Council fleet, battered and scarred, hung in the void, stunned by the swift and decisive victory. The Terran ships regrouped, their hulls barely damaged, their weapon systems powering down. Kay sat in his command chair, his mind racing. The battle had ended almost as quickly as it had begun, and it was the Terrans who had brought it to a close, not through brute force, but with cold, calculated precision. They knew, Kay murmured, more to himself than anyone else. They knew exactly how to defeat them. But even as this realization settled in, a more terrifying thought took shape. If the Terrans could do this to the Krogan, what could they do to the Galactic Council? The Council fleet lingered in stunned silence, the wreckage of the Krogan vessels scattered like debris from a shattered. The victory had come so swiftly and completely that it felt almost unreal. Kocha's gaze was fixed on the Terran ships, sleek, dark silhouettes eerily motionless after the battle. He sensed the eyes of his crew on him, searching for answers he didn't possess. Commander Estes' voice cut through the silence, cautious in tone. "What are your orders?" Kra hesitated, his mind racing. He had spent years preparing for a drawn-out war with the Krogan, only to see it snatched away in minutes by an ally he barely understood. The implications were staggering. The Terrans hadn't merely joined the fight, they had extinguished it before it even began. Now, they held the galaxy's fate in their hands. "Open a channel to Admiral Reeve," C commanded, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside. The screen flickered, revealing Admiral Reeve's calm, unreadable face. Behind him, his ship's bridge buzzed with activity, yet the Admiral remained utterly composed, as if he had anticipated this outcome all along. Commander K greeted him with a nod. "A decisive victory, wouldn't you agree?" K scrutinized him, searching for any trace of arrogance or deceit, but found none, only that same unsettling calm. "Yes, Admiral," K replied, choosing his words carefully. "Decisive indeed. The Council is grateful for your assistance, your tactics were highly effective." "Thank you, Commander," Reeve replied. His expression unchanged. The Terran Empire is always willing to assist our allies in times of need. The word allies lingered ominously in the air. K could sense the unspoken question from his crew and the Council fleet: were they truly allies, or had they simply traded one threat for another? K cleared his throat. "With the Krogan fleet destroyed, the immediate threat has been neutralized, but we still have much to discuss about our future cooperation." Reeve's eyes seemed to sharpen, though his smile remained. "Indeed, Commander, there is much to discuss. The Terran Empire has long remained detached from the galaxy's wars, but we are not without our own concerns. The Krogan were merely a symptom of a larger problem, a problem that requires a united response." K felt a chill at the implication. "And what problem is that, Admiral?" Reeve leaned in slightly, his gaze intense. "Instability. The galaxy is becoming a more dangerous place, Commander, each day. The Krogan were a threat, yes, but not the only one. For the Galactic Council to survive in the long term, it needs more than isolated victories, it needs strength, unity, and leadership." K's breath caught. Leadership. The word echoed in his mind, carrying the weight of his deepest fears since the Terran fleet had first appeared. "What exactly are you proposing?" K asked, although he suspected he already knew. Reeve's smile widened just a fraction. "An alliance, Commander, one that isn't limited to a single battle or even a single war. The Terran Empire offers its strength, resources, and protection to the Galactic Council. In return, we ask for cooperation, true cooperation under a unified command." K's blood ran cold. The Terran Empire was not merely seeking an alliance, they were demanding submission. The Council would not be equal partners, they would be subservient to the Terrans, sacrificing their autonomy for the promise of safety. "And if we refuse?" K whispered. Reeve's expression remained unchanged, but his eyes were steely. "Refusal is, of course, an option. But consider this, Commander, the Current were a formidable enemy, and they fell in minutes. The Terran Empire's reach is extensive, and our capabilities go far beyond what you have witnessed today. We do not desire conflict, but we will not shy away from it if necessary." The threat was unmistakable. The Terran Empire had displayed its might and now offered the Council a choice: join them or face the consequences. K's mind raced. He had dedicated his career to fighting for the Galactic Council's survival, battling foes that threatened their existence. But this This was different. The Terrans weren't enemies in the traditional sense, they represented a far more dangerous force, one capable of reshaping the galaxy to fit their vision. Yet he also knew that resistance would be futile. The Krogan had posed the Council's greatest threat and had been obliterated in moments. What hope did the Council have against the full might of the Terran Empire? Kra took a deep breath and met Reeves' gaze. "We will discuss your proposal with the Council," he stated, his voice steady despite the gravity of his words. "But understand this, Admiral, the Galactic Council has existed for thousands of years. We will not be ruled by fear." Reeves' smile returned, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Of course, Commander. Take all the time you need. The Terran Empire will be waiting." The transmission ended, and the screen went dark. Kra slumped back in his chair, feeling the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. He knew what he had to do, but the decision remained difficult. Sty approached cautiously. "Commander, what are we going to do?" Kay stared at the darkened screen. His mind made up. "We're going to survive, Sathal. Whatever it takes, we will survive." The Council would deliberate over the Terran Empire's proposal, but Kay recognized that it was already too late. The moment the Terran fleet had arrived, the galaxy had changed forever. The Council would have to adapt or be crushed beneath the Empire's might. As the fleet began its journey back to the heart of Council space, Kay couldn't shake the old saying, "Better the devil you know than the devil you don't." But now, the galaxy had a new devil, one that no one truly understood. The Terran Empire had shown that humanity was not afraid of war, they had merely been waiting for the right moment to remind everyone why they were the most dangerous species in the galaxy.